Stop Killing Games joins the Dutch consumer group's $457 million lawsuit against Sony over digital store monopoly. That Phantom Blade Zero does look good, and unfortunately I just recently found out there's no physical copy of Phantom Blade Zero. I said, fuck. The Stop Killing Games movement is officially suing Sony, claiming the company's monopoly over video games market is blatantly against the law. Sony is facing a number of lawsuits in a handful of countries following its controversial decision to stop printing physical discs starting January 2028. This move has sparked renewed discourse surrounding the ownership of physical media, leaving players around the world fearful for the future of gaming platforms and what pricing would look like in an all-digital marketplace, especially considering when Sony goes all digital, they will have complete control over the product, because that's one of the main issues. It's not just like an ownership thing for those who don't understand this story. It's also the fact that you would be locked into the PlayStation ecosystem. You know, there will be no Walmart, Target versus Costco and everything in between. It'll just be the PlayStation store, you know, which means they can dictate everything, and you never want anybody to have a monopoly. I know a lot of y'all played the board game but didn't understand it, but there you go. I only play Monopoly so I can get out the jail card, man. Ain't nobody got out of jail more than me in Monopoly. All right, bro. The latest entity to join these lawsuits is the Stop Killing Games movement, a consumer-led initiative working to end the trend of developers killing games online or live service games once official support for them has ended. Formed in 2024, Stop Killing Games has made its way to the European Commission and garnered over 1.2 million verified signatures on a petition as part of the European Citizens Initiative. And now it's joining the fight against Sony's plans for a future without physical games. Oh shit, hold on. As presented in a YouTube video uploaded on August 10, 2026, Stop Killing Games announced it plans to join the Dutch consumer organization Stichting Maatschappij en Consument, which filed a $457 million lawsuit against Sony back in February over claims of artificially inflating their prices on the PlayStation Store for users in the Netherlands. In its video, Stop Killing Games described the increased cost of these digital titles as unlawful Sony tax, saying it wants to fight for fair game prices and real alternatives to the online PlayStation Store, making specific mention of Sony's plans to shift to a fully online shopping experience. It's also demanding that Sony repay the money that allegedly made from Dutch players who bought games on its digital platform, with this organization saying this amount adds up to hundreds of millions of dollars. They could finish one while waiting for GTA 6, but they can't. They wanted a keyboard crib. What? As previously mentioned, Stop Killing Games and SM&C aren't the only entities taking legal action against Sony. Mexican lawmakers have submitted a formal complaint to Mexico's National Antitrust Commission requesting an investigation into Sony for alleged anti-competitive practices due to its plans to end physical media production. Also, a class action lawsuit was filed against Sony within the UK in March of 2026, alleging that millions of users in the region were subjected to excessive and unfair charges through the PlayStation Store. You know what breaks my heart about this story before we move on to the next one? First and foremost, I do like that they're going out there and they're sticking it to Sony. Shout out to the Dutch. But what breaks my heart about this story is the reoccurring theme I see with this, between now the Dutch, the Netherlands going at Sony, then you had Mexico, you had UK. It's just further, you know, for a country here in the United States who claims to be the home of the brave, back-to-back World War champions, niggas sure don't fight for nothing, boy. Motherfuckers be quick to bend over for a fucking corporation. It seems like every other continent and nation in between is out here trying to fight the corporation so that they can't have a monopoly. And over here in America, and what I'm about to say, if it don't apply, let it fly, you have a large amount of people, and it may not be you in the chat, because if you're here, it's probably not you, but it's most likely your friends, your family, that are actively out here letting corporations gaslight them into believing that, oh, they had to charge $100 for GTA 6 because they spent $1 billion. That's not my problem, bro. I ain't never heard anybody on earth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 say, oh my God, Ford and GMC have spent billions of dollars putting in production their latest fucking car, so I have to buy the new Ford because they spent billions of dollars. No, You say, I don't like the product Ford is making, so I'm not gonna support it, or I like it, so I'm gonna support it. But for some reason, in the gaming community, motherfuckers got that dick in their mouth, man. And it's heartbreaking because it's like, yo, y'all swear that motherfuckers really be on. Motherfuckers, what was the big meme in the last 2 years? Standing on business. But when it comes to actual business, don't nobody stand on nothing, bruh. Don't nobody fucking stand on nothing. And the worst part is, this is probably some of the easiest business to stand on. It's a video game. In a year where there's so many different options, I don't get it, man. I just opened the PlayStation Store for shits and giggles. Why is 2K27 10% off for the D Rose edition? Oh, they're doing that until the 18th. That shit is scummy too. Well, no, they're doing it to the 17th. On the 18th, they're revealing the gameplay. So they're trying to get people to pre-order it, basically. Yeah, I got into an argument with my homie for trying to defend Rockstar mistreating their employees. People are brain dead. I don't give a fuck if Rockstar kills somebody, bro. I don't care if they smuggling children. I don't care if they kicking puppies. I don't care if they drowning niggas. I need GTA 6. And it's just like, yo, are we okay? Are we okay? In a world where people love to say it's not that deep, this is actually one of those situations where, guys, it's not that deep. Not my fault you spent billions of dollars on a game that got you delayed 3 times. Right. I never heard that shit before. I never heard. But at bare minimum, you know, there's some groups out here trying to stick it to Sony. And I'm not gonna lie, I hope we get some victories across the board that makes Sony think again before they do anything. Shout out to Von Legend with the sub. We need some radical shit to get things to change. I disagree with you. That's the funny part. I don't agree. I don't disagree that change needs to happen, but I disagree that we need something radical to happen. We don't need anything radical to happen. Just don't support the business. Ain't that crazy? Keep your money in your wallet. No, don't tell me what the fuck to do. I love these shark cards. I love this VC. But it's making things, I don't care. I had a hard day at work. So I'm gonna justify it by letting Ronnie 2K fuck me. Like, what? Was it the $100 version of GTA selling more? Yeah, I seen. People love it, man. I love these skins, bro. Yeah, I need that new Marvel Rivals skin, bro. I can't function. Yes, you can. Go for a walk. Walk it off, dog. You'll be okay. Yeah, we just can't stop consuming. Yeah, and unfortunately, people have been brainwashed. They can't see that, you know, the powers to be, whether it be the corporations and the governments at hand, they have brainwashed Americans into this super capitalistic, this super consumer lifestyle. Like, I ain't gonna lie, there's some days where, like, what holiday recently happened? It was some holiday that recently happened, but I remember thinking, because I live close to like a big shopping center, and I remember thinking it was like a holiday, and I was like, damn, y'all niggas can't take the day off. It's a fucking holiday. Like, go do something, bro. Just always fucking buying shit, man. We can't take a break, like a day off. Go spend some time with your fucking family. I need the cat woman skin. You just don't know. I need that shit. Shit is a bad habit. Shout out to Black Tanner, but shout out to the Dutch, man. Shout out to the Dutch. Ghost of Yotei fans, the game continues to improve. It's an addiction. It is an addiction. Ghost of Yotei echoes of, I don't know how to pronounce that, Sigahara. Ghost of Yotei story expansion gets a surprise release date. It seems like Sucker Punch is just like us and loves exploring feudal Japan as much as humanly possible. Stepping into the shoes of Atu and Ghost of Yotei was easily one of the most memorable open world experiences on the PS5. I disagree. That game was pretty forgettable. Y'all not ready for that conversation. And if you did think it was unforgettable, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think you play a lot of games. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but it does. You got a chicken tender diet. Leaving players desperately craving even more, and the developers have granted that wish. Like, the game was just alright. It was alright. Celebrating nearly, yo, shout out to the artist with the sub, appreciate it. Celebrating nearly a full year since the game's initial debut, the studio has just dropped a massive announcement that is Revenge is Bad becoming auntie. Another Revenge is Bad PS5 story. Celebrating nearly a full year since the game's initial debut, the story has just dropped a massive announcement that is bound to bring samurai action enthusiasts right back into the fold. The reveal of the Ghost of Yotei Complete Edition. This expansive new package comes packed with fresh content, including a major narrative DLC and a dedicated single-player survival mode releasing way sooner than you might expect. I hope this content is not locked behind this edition, bro. I'm actually playing it right now. You enjoying it? I thought it was good. It was like a solid 8, but I was expecting like a 9.5. It was just okay. According to the PlayStation blog, the centerpiece of this upcoming release for Ghost of Yotei Echoes of Sekihara, a brand new story expansion that dives deep into Atsu's past, splitting its narrative focus between present-day Eto and crucial historical flashbacks. The DLC introduces Nagato and a figure from Atsu's history who arrives in the north seeking her out. In the present timeline, players will explore a previously unseen valley once controlled by a vicious gang of vipers. Meanwhile, the flashback sequences will transport players directly into the chaotic historic clash of the Battle of Sekihara, highlighting a pivotal turning point in Atsu's life before her quest for revenge truly took root. Alongside fresh story missions, the expansion introduces new enemy archetypes, heavy weapons, specialized armor sets, and a striking new armor dies. Basically everything we need to find a breath of fresh air when we jump back into the game. On top of that, alongside the narrative expansion, Sucker Punch is also introducing Ghost of Yotei's Most Wanted, a standalone single-player combat survival mode designed with a roguelike spin. Players can accept high-risk bounties to kick off runs, where slaying foes earns gameplay perks and unlocks additional playable characters with distinct weapon specialities, such as Yuki utilizing the swift Kusirama, I can't pronounce these damn words, and Nagato wielding a heavy Yari spear. I think this is the most interesting part of it. This seems pretty cool. I'd be interested to see what people say about this. This is breathe like a breath of fresh air into it, which, by the way, I'm not gonna lie, the fact that a lot of companies are introducing a roguelike mode into their game just goes to show you what I've been saying on this stream, that roguelike modes or roguelike games is a old head's wet dream. You never played a roguelike, it is a game mode that respects your time. You hop in, you do a run, it changes up, and then you get off that bitch, bro. And because the average gamer is 36 years old now, I think developers know it. They say, let's just roguelike everything, bro. That's why I said, Nintendo, the best thing y'all can do for the next Star Fox game is make it a roguelike. That'll keep it interesting and fresh, and it will respect people's time, man. Yeah, they're highly replayable. Both Echoes of Sekihara and the Most Wanted are set to release on October 1st of this year. You can check out its official announcement trailer right here. For players who already own the base game, making the jump to the new content will still require you to shell out a little extra cash. Existing owners can grab the Ghost of Yotei Complete Edition upgrade for $15, granting access to both Echoes and the Sekihara whatever Most Wanted upon their arrival. Meanwhile, newcomers will have to pay $70 for the Complete Edition. I mean, if the content is good, $15 for this is not bad. It just depends on how quality it is. Let's check out the trailer.
My mother told me stories.
Right.
Vonduo, ruthless spirits who wander the land.
He said, for that reason, I'm out.
Vengeance. The night my family was massacred, I became such a spirit.
Very pretty, very pretty.
I swore to my father
Where the new content at?
that I'd kill you.
Echoes.
All your stories about Esso, I assumed you exaggerated its beauty. I was so wrong.
Unexplored lands.
This isn't like old times, Nagato. One wrong.
I need Sucker Punch to start working on the next Infamous game after this. I don't think they're going back, man. I think best case scenario, maybe you get a remake or like a remaster of the first two games, but I don't think they're going back to that, bro.
Oh, I'm well aware of what happened.
Especially because Sony has positioned this game as like one of the premier games on PlayStation. I feel like we're more likely to get a third entry in the Ghost series or a new title.
It's the people who
A new IP.
We win this. I will be someone. A true samurai.
A true samurai. Which, by the way, based off what I just said, if I had to pick one of the two routes, I'd rather see a new IP from Sucker Punch. After playing Ghost of Yotei, good game, but it was underwhelming, a little disappointing in terms of expectations. I really expected them to expand upon the story, the world, the gameplay. The gameplay was too safe, and then the story didn't have the same oomph to it because it didn't have the ramifications of Jin's story where he had to choose the lifestyle between the traditional samurai and the ninja. And I wasn't able to articulate that until I beat the game. I was like, something's off about Yotei. And it's just because like, I'd say Atsu's okay as a character, but it's just like, it's like your typical revenge story versus it felt like there were real ramifications for Jin's choices to the point where, like, I mean, minor spoiler, if you take the ninja route at the end of Ghost of Tsushima, you end up having to fight your uncle. That shit was kind of heavy. I was like, damn, he said, nah, bro, I don't fuck with that shit. Run my fade, nigga. It was just too straightforward, Ghost of Yotei. So for me, I'm kind of ghost the fuck out if that's the way they're going with the series. If they don't have another interesting story to tell, like the first one, I'd prefer them just to make a new IP. Jin's story was heartbreaking. Facts. Now that we have time for me to sit on it, I think the first one was way better.
Matters is the man in front of you.
I'm in October 1st. At least they reasonably priced the DLC. They wouldn't try to charge $50 for this bullshit. It's a shame we won't see a PC version. Blame Sony, bruh. The Ghost of Kenya. Yo, chill. I mean, we technically had that. Ubisoft made that shit where they put Yasuke in it, bro. The Ghost of Nairobi. No CJ mods. We technically did have that shit, bro. Fighting Jin's uncle actually made me emotional. Yeah, because at the end, you was just like, damn, bro. I thought we were gonna have to let that shit slide. And he said, no, if you really want to live this life, you're gonna have to slit my throat. I said, damn, I guess you gotta die, nigga. You ready for that Crimson Desert DLC? Mods, block this, man. The Ghost of Ghana. That actually has a nice ring to it, the Ghost of Ghana, that alliteration. Sucker Punch or Insomniac. I really do like Sucker Punch's Infamous series. And then Ghost of Tsushima, I'd say Ghost of Tsushima is like a modern classic. I'd say it's a modern classic. But then on the flip side, you got Insomniac who gave us that raccoon, that trash panda shit, which I love. What else Insomniac make? Ratchet and Clank too, right? Oh no, am I bugging? Am I getting them fucked up? They made Ratchet and Clank. No, who made Sly Cooper? That was Sucker Punch, right? I'm getting old, bro. I'm confusing the fucking joints up. Sucker Punch has 0 misses. I would agree with that. I would say some games are better than others, but yeah, they don't have a miss. Sly is Sucker Punch. Damn. Yeah, I would say Sucker Punch then. I'd put him over. Because Insomniac, they only have Ratchet and Clank, right? What else does Insomniac have besides Ratchet and Clank? And I'm not gonna lie, Ratchet and Clank, as much as I love it, it's very hit or miss. There are really good ones, and then there's really like forgettable ones. They made Spider-Man. Spider-Man on PS4 was cool. The first one. Miles Morales just kind of exists. Sunset Overdrive was a 6 out of 10, guys. Cut it out. Sunset Overdrive had a lot of potential, but it didn't live up to it. Spider-Man 2 is too safe. I feel like I'd give the edge to Sucker Punch just because Sly Cooper is very consistent. Sly Cooper from 1 to 4 is great. You said Spyro? Insomniac made Spyro? Did they? Fuck. They did make Spyro. Spyro 1 to 3 are classics. The rest of them, I don't count. That's the only... Damn. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change my answer. I'm going to give him a tie. I'm gonna give him a tie. I'm gonna give him a tie. Yeah, that one's actually that actually is a really hard debatable one. Like now that y'all naming it, you said Wolverine is with Insomniac. Yeah, but Wolverine ain't came out, so we can't count that shit. Ain't nobody played that game. You played it, nigga. You know something we don't know. Because friendly reminder, guys, I'm not saying it will be, and most likely it won't happen. But there is a world where Wolverine ends up being a 6 out of 10. It could be hella mid. We don't know. Ain't nobody played that shit. Ain't been a single preview either. Bit of an infamous sucker punch, right? Tight shit. It's possible. It is possible, man. I fucking hate the fact that they remastered The Last of Us 20,000 times, and guess what? It's another 20,000 coming later. Wait till they start remastering the TV show, bruh. Last of Us season 1 and 2 coming to Blu-ray in 8K. See Ellie like you've never seen it before. The blackers are black. The whites are more white. Truly crisp visuals. Pedro Pascal is back, reprising his role as the beloved Joel before they kill him in season 2. God of War's Christopher Judge is tired of video game. Yo, shout out to Taco Shock with the sub. God of War's Christopher Judge is tired of video game TV adaptations ignoring the game's creators. The live-action adaptation of God of War is on the way, but the voice of the iconic God Killer Kratos, Christopher Judge, has a bone to pick with the people behind the adaptations. As the actor explained, he's ignored that these projects fail to hire anyone from the source material to work on them, as they tend to ignore the talent behind the success of these games. He says, my problem with... Wait, is that the actual link? Let me see. It is. Let's listen to the horse's mouth. Listen to what he actually said himself.
Game adaptations. You have this pre-existing successful property, and the first thing you do is not hire anyone associated with it. The Last of Us, love Pedro. Were they better than the game cast? I saw a stage reading they did. It was unreal. I have no idea why you don't just take that cast, those writers, especially when you're gonna do episodes that are shot.
Man, get this shit the fuck out my face.
Of the game. When Amazon,
I don't want to join that Reddit shit, bro.
Especially when you're gonna do episodes that are shot for shot remakes of the game. When it was finally approved and announced, and they didn't hire any of the God of War writers. What are you thinking? Like, these guys have been immersed in this world for 20 years.
Look at this nerd on Reddit.
But someone's gonna know better between God of War and God of War Ragnarok and the previous games. How many copies has that sold? I guarantee you it's 1/100th of the audience of God of War.
Y'all just gonna have to look at this shit, bro.
You can't tell these writers how to tell stories.
I half agree with what he said. I feel like what he's saying is coming from a good place, but I feel like it would have more merit 20 years ago. He's not wrong, but I feel like he would have more merit 20 years ago. Because what he just named, like those two flops, like what? Like somebody in the chat said Halo. Yeah, but for every Halo, we also have Sonic the Hedgehog. Them Sonic movies are fire. I love to make a Sonic joke, but them Sonic movies are fire. We gonna act like Fallout doesn't exist? Fallout Season 1 are fucking fire. What are we talking about here? The Mario movie, the first one was okay. The second one, I feel like we have just as many hits as we do have misses. I feel like personally, I think he's a little upset with the portrayal of the live action adaptation of Amazon's what's the name? God of War. And that shit does look mid. But yeah, I do think it's generally a 50-50 conversation. There are just as many good movies revolving around video games as there are bad ones now, or TV shows. So I think it's a balance thing. Yeah, The Witcher, wasn't The Witcher 1 season 1 pretty decent? The Last of Us is weird. He referenced The Last of Us, and even The Last of Us wasn't bad. Season 2 was, but that's because the fucking game sucks. But season 1 of The Last of Us TV show was okay. Borderlands was trash. I'd argue Borderlands never had a chance to be a good movie in the first place because it's not a good story anyway. But y'all not ready for that conversation. Oh yeah, the Gran Turismo movie. I saw that. The Gran Turismo movie was actually pretty fucking good if you haven't seen it. What's the name? Assassin's Creed. That movie came out like 20 years ago. That shit sucks. Like 15 years ago, some shit like that. Borderlands generally felt like money laundering, and like, yeah, Hollywood just had to check that they needed a tax write-off or some shit like that. But yeah, it's 50-50, I feel like. Mortal Kombat's not that great. But like I'll say this much. There's been enough quality video game adaptations, and they also count the animes like motherfucking Sonic Prime. You also got what's it, the Devil May Cry anime. I feel like we've reached a point where like when a live action adaptation or an anime of a video game is announced, I don't cringe anymore. Yeah, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. We've reached the point where I don't cringe anymore when it's announced. I give it a chance versus if this was 15 years ago, yeah, Castlevania. If this was 15 years ago and you announced a video game show, I'd instantly roll my eyes. I would instantly roll my eyes. So like, I love them, but I would give them a little bit of pushback on that. I'd be like, have you seen Fallout? I'm not gonna lie, y'all know I'm a Bethesda hater, but if you say that Fallout, you could say it's not the best, but if you say the Fallout TV show is ass and they don't love the property, fucking, I don't know. I don't think you've seen it, bruh. Let's see. Hokage, where's your father? Stop yapping the nonsense and get to the topic. My father's out getting milk, and I'm gonna ban you to give you some time to go find him, so that when you do, he can pour the milk on the floor. You can slip on it, bust your head, and never wake up. Matter of fact, when you do wake up, you're gonna look around and you're gonna see the 9 circles of hell, fuck nigga.
When I say bum, 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 when I say bum.
Eat my dick respectfully. Anyways, what we're about to do here. Next topic. You gotta be careful with these adaptations of cinematic games. You can't change too much. Nah, that's true. That's true. Say hi to Twitter, bitch. Fucking bum. You can't make this shit up. Next news. Data miners uncover 5 possible DLC characters for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Now that Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is officially out in the wild, data miners have wasted no time digging through the game's files, and they found some interesting heroes mentioned within them. Marvel's latest fighting game has had quite a week. After stuttering issues plagued the PC version upon launch, Arc System Works was quick to implement a fix, turning the tide of the public's opinion. Don't get it twisted, they ain't fixed much. That shit still run like doo-doo butter. These niggas is lying. Y'all ain't played the update. Many blame these PC problems on Arc System's works anti-data mining measures, which seem to have paid off. One reputable source claimed they couldn't find much, crediting the developer for their efforts in cleaning up the game's data. In other comments, they said they haven't come across anything new regarding upcoming costumes or DLC spoilers, but they did mention that they've seen assets for a future battle pass and warned players to get ready for what's next. Bro, I just put my dishes away and I missed some shit. You'll be all right. Y'all niggas get high off them fucking bands, bro. It's just, people be trying to be funny in the chat. I'm not gonna lie. When people type stupid shit in the chat, that shit makes me happy, bro. Cause I be trying to be civilized, be like, you just gonna give me a clip. That shit don't bother me. We finna turn you to a clip and go viral. Think y'all forget, boy, I'm quick off the top of my dome. By the way, there's not much of data mine out of the token in terms of unreleased content. Arcs has gotten really good about cleaning up in the last few years. The only good thing I did find in the battle pass is assets, so get ready. Notable data mining group XOXO Leak also chimed in on some discoveries, specifically mentioning 5 heroes that were supposedly discovered during their excursion into the files. Those characters include Doctor Strange, the Wasp, Gambit, the Thing, and Daredevil. Doctor Strange is believable because he was in Marvel vs. Capcom. The Wasp would be interesting. I'm not opposed to it. Gambit, 100%. Man, clap it up for Gambit. I don't really care about this depressed ass Rock. I don't care about an orange Geo dude. And Daredevil could be cool. That nigga blind and shit, so that's cool. Keep in mind though, this is all just what they found in the code. Just because they were working on it at some point doesn't mean it's going to be in the game. These characters could be scrapped for one reason or another, but it could be a thing. Armor. Oh yeah, the Thing is going to be like the Hulk. Armor. Gambit is believable because of 97. Oh, for sure. the Thing don't feel believable because they mentioned him in the story along with the rest of the Fantastic Four? Wouldn't that mean they'd be believable? Orange Geodude is crazy. My bad, not Geodude. That's disrespectful to the Thing. The Thing would be an orange Graveler. You know what that is? Remember that? Wasn't that the evolved version of it? Graveler. Yo, shout out to Hey I'm Biggs with the 5 gifted subs. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's the Thing right there. Graveler. Fucking Graveler. All right, 05. Skirt. Oh boy, that 5 was harder than it needed to be. I'm not recovered from chest day yesterday. My tries are gone. The Thing already an unkillable bum in Rivals. Glad you acknowledge he's a bum. Other news, Hogwarts Legacy 2 is officially in the works, claimed by Warner Bros. TRT Hokage win. Shut the fuck up. Yo, before we get into the next story, yo, funny story. I know somebody who on that shit, bruh. Fucking this, like, he a friend of a friend, and I was at his house, and that nigga, he offered me that shit, bruh. And I remember, you ever have somebody say something to you and you just can't believe that shit? I was like, nigga, like, no, you got it, bro. You got it. He's like, man, this shit, man, you combine this with Ozempic, this shit go crazy. I was like, yo, you got it, dog. You got it. I can get you the hook. I'll get you my plug. That's all you, dog. I'm good off that, man. I don't want my dick shriveling up. I like having a BBC. No BBC for you. Gear mixed with Ozempic. It's people out here living life on the edge. I'm gonna tell you that much. Anyways, a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy is actively in development. Not trying to turn into Liver King. Yo, and the funny thing about it is when they bring this shit up, they say it like it's so normal. Like, yo, that's not normal what you just said to me, dude. I'm good off. Don't even say that to me no more, bro. I don't even want to know what you're doing, man. Development according to Warner Bros. The studios confirmed in a recent earnings report that a second installment for Hogwarts Legacy is in the works. No details were provided on what the game will look like or when it might release, but it appears to be a serious focus of the company going forward. In the earnings report, WB expected that titles like Hogwarts Legacy 2 will meaningfully contribute to the future revenue of the game. Not the game will be good, not the game will be a classic, not that it will be creative. It said it will contribute to the future revenue. We could have got absolute TBH. Nah, never that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your first red flag right there. Nothing about we have some crazy ideas on the whiteboard and we look forward to bringing them to life. These niggas said it'll bring meaningful contributions to the revenue. First red flag. Doesn't mean the game's gonna be ass, but I'm already telling you, we 2-3 years early, you remember who said it first. We will be sleeping with one eye open when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy 2. This shit is always a red flag when they start off talking about a new game like this. We expect games to more meaningful contribute to segment profitability going forward as our pipeline expands, including the second installment of Hogwarts Legacy. And matter of fact, this game is super susceptible to microtransactions and bullshit. Because keep in mind, Warner Bros. Is poor, guys. They had to cancel the Wonder Woman game we were all looking forward to. Multiverses died twice. First game ever to die twice. The second would be fucking, what's that shit? Splitgate. That shit sucked too. Gotham Knights was hot ass. Suicide Squad, hot ass. Mortal Kombat 1 failed. Just a lot of ass, a lot of butthole coming out of fucking Warner Bros, man. Marvel's Avengers is not Warner Bros. Warner Bros is DC. They just have not been doing good. The one glimmer of light they had is Hogwarts Legacy. And I feel like this game is susceptible to being fucked over. This shouldn't come as a big shock though. Warner Bros. Has previously stated that as a Warner Bros. Legacy successor was a big priority. Following the success of the first game, Hogwarts Legacy is among the best-selling games of all time with 40 million copies sold. That's fucking crazy, man. That shows you how powerful Harry Potter is. One of the best-selling games of all time. I'm gonna be honest, Hogwarts Legacy, if you play games, like you really do this shit, you buy a few games every year, Hogwarts Legacy is a fucking 7 out of 10 at best. If you want to argue for an 8, I'll allow it, but I'm not gonna lie. If you say Hogwarts Legacy is an 8.5 or higher, I think you're a fucking nutcase. It is a Ubisoft open world game with a Kafringo. But it's a Ubisoft open world game. The best part of this game was the Slytherin side quest. That shit was pretty fire towards the end of the game. I'm like, damn, if they would have had more of this shit might have been a 9. So, all right, here's what I suggest, man. You need more heartfelt, interesting storylines like that Slytherin storyline. And then you need to put Quidditch in the game, man. Put some Quidditch missions in there. And then maybe after we beat the story, you can get Quidditch multiplayer. But I think one of the biggest issues I had with Hogwarts Legacy is it's really fun for like maybe the first 4 to 5 hours, but you start to notice, I started to notice within like the first 2 hours, the gameplay loop didn't really evolve much, right? It didn't take the systems that it established early on and it built upon it. That's what a good gameplay loop does, right? You start off with your basics, your light, your heavy, your medium attacks, then you learn the quarter circle, and then you learn how to combo the light, medium, and heavy into a quarter circle. You see what I'm saying? You build upon those systems. I don't feel like the system's built upon itself with Hogwarts Legacy. It was Kafringo from beginning to end. They got to find, and to be fair to WB, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how you make being a wizard interesting like that. But they're gonna have to find some type of way. Maybe put some type of physical wizard abilities in there, like a nigga can enhance his hands and start boxing and shit. We get a combo system. But they got to find a way to make the main gameplay combat, like the combat loop, a little bit more interesting. Magic swords, yeah, something. Make it like Black Clover. I'm ready for Black Clover to come back, man. King Von meets Hogwarts Legacy. I don't know about all that. Quidditch Champions, I think it was. Yeah, they did come out with a Quidditch game, but nobody played that shit, bro. Which, by the way, that's another L. I forgot. Yo, that shit was so fucking forgettable. I forgot that shit came out, man. And you know the funny thing about this game? I remember when they announced this shit and they said it was coming out in September. I said, I remember, was it 2024? Yeah, September of 2024. There was a bunch of games coming out in September. And I remember saying, I was like, I think you guys might want to push that back to like December. Like, I'll give you another example. I think that DLC we just talked about, the Ghost of Yotei DLC, I think they should push it back to December when there's less competition. Releasing that shit in September, October, you're gonna get stomped on. It's gonna get forgot. You ain't gonna make no fucking money because you're not gonna have any, you're not gonna be able to occupy your own space, your own moment in the gaming space. People are gonna be talking about too many other games. And this is what happened with this one. It was some free-to-play slop that they released in September amongst a bunch of other juggernauts, and it got lost in translation. I don't even know if this is a good or a bad game because it shut down so damn quickly. But if they could have put it in the game, could have lasted longer. So yeah, so put Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy and make it fucking fun, man. And then last but not least, this pissed me off news, and I hope it's not true. Season 2 of The Penguin is in limbo at HBO. It may not be made. Where's the Penguin? He said, fuck. All right, let's see. When Lanterns premiered Sunday on HBO, it will cap a nearly 7-year journey to the screen that included at least 4 takes, 2 creative teams, and more executive changes than Green Lantern himself. The series debut is a milestone for James Gunn and Peter Safran, stewardship of the DC Universe, which has began a roller coaster at the cinema. With 2025 Superman hot. Yeah, we know. You're yapping. What about the fucking Penguin? Did this have to do anything? Lanterns. No. How is this the source? This doesn't even mention the Penguin. Hey, take this with a grain of salt. Unless I'm bugging, this doesn't even mention the Penguin. Here, let me see. Let me search this shit. TBH, I follow you, but I just don't brush the bullshit. LOL. Damn gang. I don't know what you're talking about. You see the Control Resonant gameplay? Nah, but I've seen enough. Let's see. Thread season 2 Penguin. Season 2 of The Penguin is reportedly in limbo at HBO. It may not happen. Boom, 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 boom. Gets new HBO window as Robert Pattinson's The Batman 2 loses its 2027 release date. What does the second season want to do for the character? That's a good question, actually. Gotta get revenge for my mans, though. Got a new window amid the Warner Bros. Shakeup that stripped Robert Pattinson's The Batman to 2027 release date. The Colin Farrell crime drama ended its 8-episode run on HBO Max in November of 2024. Damn, time flies. It's one of the best reviewed titles in the DC Studios catalog and calls for its return never really quiet down. HBO never officially ordered a second season, though, as its prospects swung between hopeful and hopeless for the better part of 2 years. The show's entry on the Writers Guild of America website now displays a 2026-2027 release window for the season 2. I think what they could do for season 2 is, if their goal for Robert Pattinson's The Batman is to remain like ground level, if they're not trying to do more into the mythical shit, the Raja Ghul, I don't know, Clayface type shit, if they're trying to keep it street level, we're talking, you know, fuck Falcone, the Court of Owls type shit. If they're trying to keep it there, what they could do for the season 2 of the Penguin is they could use the Penguin to introduce and establish a new villain within Gotham. And he's maybe doing business with him or whatever. And then at the end of season 2, you know, Robert Pattinson's Batman gets a hold of it, and that leads to the next movie or some shit like that. But it really depends on where they're going with this. Yeah, the Mad Hatter, Two-Face. Yeah, it could be Two-Face. That's more of like a grounded character. You could even do the Joker. It really depends on where they're going with this. Yeah, you could do Hugo Strange. That's a grounded character, kind of like a mind fuck thing. I would say they got to bring Sophia into the fold and go crazy with the Batman too. Y'all niggas just want to look at her. Y'all would not be saying that. Let me see. Y'all would not be saying that if she looked like in the show the cartoon version of her. Hold up. If she looked like this, y'all would not be saying that shit, bro. Oh wait, no. Let's do the Lego version. Yeah, if she looked like this right here, y'all would not be saying that shit, bro. You'd be like, "Eh, man, get this shit the fuck off my goddamn screen, bro. Why Falcone all of this, bridge, bro?" You said, "Damn, nigga, you right. Yeah, y'all just want to look at her some more. That's all that is, bro." This could be a sign of a merger between the universes, though, because DC has also canceled Waller and the Wonder Woman show. Yeah, I saw they canceled Waller, unfortunately. So that's what you think it is? Y'all think maybe DC's desperate? They tried to keep the Batman separate, but because Supergirl flopped, maybe they're trying to find a way to finagle the Batman inside of James Gunn's universe. Black Mask would be cool. You could do Black Mask. Shit, you could do Red Hood. Although you would need to establish the Robins. I don't know how that would work, actually, unless they change the story of Red Hood. You said, why she kind of, you said, you know what, man, she not bad, bro. She not bad.